We have an order in this session here for 1 hour, and the order is easy. It is alphabetically. So we start with an A, and the first A goes to Apadua. Apadua is one of the startups founded in 2016, based in Cologne. And we have with us Markus Sins. He is one of the founder and explaining us something about supplier sourcing, tendering, and performance around that. And as far as I know, there is another word in that which means collaboration. So is collaboration one of the key lessons from the key words of being successful within supplier? How is that in your solution solved?
Hi, Stefan. Can you hear me well? Yes, very good. Yeah, thank you. Thanks for the words. Also, Klaus, I perfectly hear you. Actually, you did part of my pitch already. Yes, collaboration is a big part. Collaboration between procurement, between business functionalities, but also between the suppliers and their clients. And this is part of our solution. Let me quickly give you an overview. And coming back to what Klaus just said, yes, there is a huge gap between what companies actually need and what they usually buy in the market. Sometimes it's not necessary to buy the largest or the best known company or to contract the best known provider, but to get the best out of the market. And this is more or less what we do at Apadua. We call this smart professional services procurement. And I would like to start with a quick number. Did you know that 3 to 10% of the annual revenue is usually spent by companies to professional services? It's quite a lot. If you relate that to your company and to your company's revenue, you would probably come up with a huge spend. And this is a category that really matters. And what's within that category? It's consulting, it's auditing, tax and legal, or just like Klaus said it at this point, IT, for example, IT consulting, but also IT implementation, engineering, marketing services, and the like. So the category itself is quite widespread and very badly organized in the market. So what happens is that, and we can say that with confidence, because there are studies out there that companies, up to 40% of the companies are not happy with the result and the performance of their service providers. So they basically spend good money on poor services. The question is, why is that? So clients are oftentimes unable to specify their demand, which means they don't really know what they need, or if they know it, and if procurement, for example, is not so much involved, it's hard for them to structure their demands in a way the market understands it. Then, as a subsequent step, they are unable to, or they struggle to identify the suitable providers for that. And this is a great example that Klaus just gave us. Suitable doesn't always mean it needs to be the largest, as said before. And third of all, they don't monitor and evaluate the performance and also the quality of their providers. So what most of the companies do for the direct materials, so let's say buying screws, buying raw materials, every single delivery will be measured by time, quantity, and sometimes even by let's say the specification. This is usually not done. Think about your company and think about how they, for example, measure the quality of consulting projects. Some of those companies, some of your companies might do that with an Excel. Rarely, not in a sophisticated way, not in a structured way. So we think the root cause of this is the clients don't involve procurement, because procurement is on the one side the subject matter expert for the market, but also for the method of sourcing and working together with service providers. So there's a huge gap between both sides. So we at Apadua say procurement should be in control of the sourcing for professional services, and especially the categories that I named before. So our goal is to empower procurement and to be the preferred partner within the company for the internal clients. So let's quickly look into the solution. If you look into the process at your company, we abbreviate that with ESM, Explore, Source, Monitor. So from the left to the right, this is more or less a regular sourcing process. If you check that, you probably find most of the steps in any process that you do at your company. If we ask our clients if and how they are involved, and we usually speak to procurement organizations, they would say either they're not involved or at least too late. So if we look into the solutions, it's Explore, Source, and Monitor. And linking to what Klaus said earlier, all this was developed together with our clients based on their demands. So we really have a startup approach here, having a quick first solution, then starting with the client, getting their feedback, and then improving the functionality. So real quick, Explore. Here, our clients get access to our database of professional service firms. Currently, there are over 2,500 vendors in that database, usually in the DACH market. And so you can create lists. For example, you can create a preferred supplier list, etc., and manage your suppliers here. Then in Source, as the name says, it's a sourcing process. So you can conduct the entire sourcing process from project or demand specification, matching with suppliers throughout the collaboration process until you have a final decision. And then last of all, we have added this month a new functionality to Source. So now you can also tender out rate cards. Before we were only able to tender out projects. Now you can also tender out rate cards because our focus is not freelancers, our focus is companies. And the last part, which I mentioned earlier, the monitoring. So now with our tool, and this is really literally the first tool where you can do that, you can monitor the performance and quality of your project and then feed that back into a supplier management process, which is something you would put on your agenda as procurement. So in a nutshell, the three applications: Explore, Source, and Monitor. Stefan, I hope I stayed within the timing.
Perfectly done. Perfectly done. Yeah, this is wonderful. Thank you for this overview. We have a 5-minute rule here, so each of you have 5 minutes, which is a little bit more than the 3-minute elevator pitch, but I understand Explore, Source, and Monitor is the core feature of your thing. And another thing which you said is, which is a really big advantage of working together with startups, you can develop together with startups the next steps. So startups are not so, let's say, in an old-fashioned way, not interested in the business. So they would like to learn from the customer side what is maybe the next thing they can develop. And that is also something which I understand from your 5 minutes. Thank you very much for that.